Yahaha, you found me. That is why I'm not a voice actor. Anyway, I decided to make a video today because I have been feeling a little rageful at some comments that I've been seeing on the internet regarding the Zelda movie. I mean, there's so many things to talk about regarding the Zelda movie, but the thing that has been annoying me the most is, first of all, they cast, Link and Zelda, and in my opinion, they're both perfectly fine. I've never seen any acting from either of them, but I kind of like the idea that it is individuals who we're not super familiar, at least I'm not super familiar with, so that way I won't be watching, Vin Diesel playing Link and think, that's Vin Diesel, that's not Link. You know what I mean? At least this way we're not watching some actor that we already know, and then it's that whole suspension of belief thing where we're trying to forget their other roles. And anyways, so the point is, the kid playing Link is, I think, 16 or something like that, and that's the perfect age for Link. He shouldn't be some 20-something-year-old. One of the comments that I saw was like, this kid needs to beef up to play Link, and it's like, in which Zelda game has Link ever been beefy? None. So no, he does not. This is exactly the whole concept of Link is that he's just some random kid who is not a well-trained soldier or whatever. Sure, in some games he is, but for the most part, he's just some rando kid who then gets this whole entire destiny of Hyrule thrust on him out of nowhere. And that's the whole point of it, is it's supposed to feel like, really, this kid is going to save the whole kingdom? Whereas if it's some jacked, super talented swordsman, then it's like, oh yeah, he's probably got this then. But if it's just some kid, then, anyway, so that's the whole point. That was the first thing that was annoying me, is some people were having weird reactions to this kid's casting. And then the other weird reaction I've been hearing is, wait, so this kid is 16, but the girl playing Zelda is like, I can't remember, 20, 22, something like that. Ooh, that age difference is going to be awfully awkward when they kiss. When they kiss? What? Why are they going to kiss? What would... In what Zelda game have they kissed? Now, you're going to remember, if you're as old as I am, and you're probably not, that maybe it is implied that they kiss in The Adventure of Link, but even that's not confirmed, because all we know for sure is that some girl who's been asleep for hundreds of years wakes up, and then she possibly kisses the first person that she sees after being asleep for hundreds of years, which is all kinds of weird. She didn't know Link. Why is she randomly kissing him? But we don't even know that they kiss. All we know is that a curtain comes down and hides their upper torso of their bodies, and that they stand close together. Maybe she's just checking his head for lice? I don't know. We don't know for sure that they kiss, but fine, using Occam's razor, the implication from the developers is that they're kissing. Okay, fine, whatever. That's weird. It makes no sense. If I'm in a coma for a week and I wake up, I'm not just randomly kissing the very first person that I see when I wake up from that coma, but whatever. So there's that game, which makes no sense, but whatever, it exists. But we don't know, first of all, we don't know that they do kiss. And second of all, we don't know that they become a couple afterwards. Maybe she is just really, romance deprived, we'll say. And then she gets that out of her system, and she marries the prince of some neighboring kingdom or whatever. And that's the other thing let's talk about. Hyrule is meant to be based on medieval European society. Miyamoto has said so. Takakashi. I can't remember the guy's name. Anyways, and I don't feel like editing this out and looking it up. Anyways, the two main people who came up with the story for the original Legend of Zelda say it's based on medieval European fairy tales and whatnot, and that in that society, there's no chance, no shot, that a commoner is getting in a relationship with a princess. That just does not happen. It's not allowed. There would be revolts from the populace. So putting that aside, what we do know for sure is that in Skyward Sword, where Princess Zelda is not a princess. She's actually just a regular commoner, just like Link, because Hyrule is not a kingdom and she's not a princess of it. There is implied romance, at least one-sided. It is implied that she has feelings for him. Maybe some cutscenes you can interpret, or the developers probably intended us to interpret, Link having some kind of affection for her. But to assert that we know for sure that after the events of Skyward Sword they get together and become a couple, we just straight up don't know that. There's not enough evidence. And then the only other game that there's any kind of implication of anything is in Tears of the Kingdom. First of all, not even in Breath of the Wild. Frankly, in Breath of the Wild, she seems to, for the most part, despise Link, not have any romantic feeling for him, at least in the past. And then after he dies, and then she puts him in the Shrine of Resurrection or whatever the heck, then she seems to have some sort of like, oh dang, I messed up. I feel bad that this loyal knight guy is basically dead and it's all my fault. But there's not any really romance exactly going on there as far as I can tell. But people love to point out the fact that in Tears of the Kingdom, in the house that was Link's house, now suddenly Zelda herself has taken up temporary residence as if it's her like cabin away from home or something like that. And so they're like, well, obviously they're together then because they live in the same house. Hold up. Together? Living together? We don't know that. In fact, Link spends thousands of rupees to build a house completely separate and away from her on the other side of the kingdom. So they don't seem together to me. Seems like he wants to get away from her. Seems like maybe she might have feelings for him. And we can figure that out from her diaries, that she seems to imply she has feelings from him. But for his part, Link seems to want to get away from that. He does not seem interested in her. And this points to the other games where, like in Ocarina of Time, there is no implied romance between them. In fact, I would argue that he and Saria have much more of a romantic connection, or even him and Ruto have more of a romantic connection. There's no implication that he has anything going on with Zelda. Link to the Past, he's just some random guy who saves a princess. Twilight Princess, they don't even know each other. There's no implied romance between them. Basically, in all of the games, he's her employee. He's there to do his job, which is to save the kingdom, and sometimes her, actually usually her. And that's it. Employee-employer relationship. No romance. I would even go so far as to say something super controversial, which is that in Wind Waker, I'm pretty sure Zelda's, let's just say Link isn't her type, if you know what I mean. So I just don't buy it. I don't think they are ever a couple. There's no game in which they eventually sort of consummate any kind of relationship. We never have, even from Hyrule Historia, any kind of record saying, yes, well, Ocarina of Time Link and Princess Zelda got married and had this offspring or anything. There's nothing like that. The developers just intend this to be the traditional, like, rescuing the damsel in distress sort of thing, and that's it. And then he goes back to his commoner ways. In Ocarina of Time, he doesn't move to Hyrule Castle. He just continues living his regular life. Same in all the other games. So they're not a couple. Sorry, guys. Now, this might be my own bias, because as a dude who likes dudes, it really annoys me when I see constantly shoved in my face in media that, in fandoms, like, the whole shipping concepts of these two characters are paired up together, and it's just like, based on what evidence, though? Because I didn't get any of that from my reading of the situation. I mean, frankly, in Breath of the Wild, I would say there's a lot more spicy interest between Prince Sidon and Link than there is between Zelda and Link. So, anyways, that's my ramble for the year. I'll probably have more stuff to talk about regarding the Zelda movie as we learn more stuff, because I'm very excited about it. Anyways, see you guys whenever we get more stuff. Bye.